Join the Rotary Club of Neepawa for Rotary Presents, a twice-monthly presentation and Q&A with a different guest about topics at the heart of Neepawa.
Thanks so much, Bob. I have a very weak voice, weirdly enough, today. I know it's not usually my forte, but I had a cold a couple of weeks ago, and I just have not regained my voice back, so please bear with me just a little bit. So thank you so much, Bob, for inviting me to make this presentation to Rotary. A couple of you, if you've watched the Town of Neepawa on NACTV, you've probably seen most of this information, but I will try to kind of keep a little bit of it fresh for you and give you some updates on what we're doing. It's really, it's always exciting to be able to tell folks what we're doing at the Salvation Army here in Neepawa. I think we're kind of, we're a hidden resource in this community, and I feel that we are a huge asset to what we bring to this community. We are so much more than just a thrift store. So the Salvation Army has a very long-standing history in Neepawa, and the first Salvationists had arrived here in 1886, and there has been a presence in Neepawa ever since of the Salvation Army. The Salvation Army, of course, is a Christian organization. It is a church, and there was a core, which is what they call their churches, and that was held at the Citadel at 299 Davidson, which is now where Kinsman Court 2 currently resides. And that core shut down in about 1994, just because of dwindling congregation, those sorts of things. But they decided to keep the thrift store part. They were doing thrift store, they were doing a little bit of food cupboard, and they did Christmas hampers. And so they kept those things going in the community. And they had hired Darla Bradley at that time in '94, and she ran Sally Ann Country Boutique for a number of years until she retired. And then it just kind of, I took over in 2012. I've been there for 13 years, which is, it's incredible that has been that long already. And we've seen a lot of changes in that time. In 2018, we moved from the Citadel into the front part of the old Neepawa Gladstone Co-op grocery store, and we've really grown our services and what we do in the community from there. If you were ever in the thrift store, it pretty much was the size of this room, jam-packed, and you maybe had a hard time even getting into the store because that's where we received donations. And it really was, we really had outgrown our space, and that was the reason for moving, was to increase the space and to move on. So our commitment here in Neepawa is that the Salvation Army Community Services, we're committed to providing individuals and families support through establishing, promoting, and supporting programming with a focus of food security and food literacy, strengthening families, and supporting individuals holistically in achieving their personal goals, while guided by the mission of the Salvation Army. And that mission is to share the love of Jesus Christ, meet human needs, and be a transforming influence in the communities of our world. So our operations are overseen by the Salvation Army Canada Bermuda, and we are part of the Prairie and Northern Territories Division. And we also have a local council that guides our operations as well, so I'm not just out there doing all the things. I have a great lot of support behind me. So this is kind of what we do. We have our thrift store, we have community services, and then we're a great community partner. So those are kind of the three prongs of what we do within this community. Our thrift store is really so important to what we do, and it's so much more than just a thrift store. It is our social enterprise for our operations. We sell, of course, secondhand items at affordable prices. All of our items are donated by the public. We don't purchase anything. And we take donations of pretty much anything. Anything from clothing, household, linens, small furniture, books, small appliances, knickknacks, home decor, sporting equipment, you name it, we probably have it in the store. The unfortunate part is we don't have a lot of room for bigger things. So I will squeeze in as much furniture as I possibly humanly can. And it usually goes really quickly. But we do have things every once in a while, like dressers or bed frames, or right now I have a huge desk and those sorts of things that come in as well. We establish prices based on our pricing policy. So we do compare to other local thrift stores. We try to keep within those price guidelines. We don't want to be too expensive. We don't want to be too inexpensive as well. We also take into account what we're selling. So if it's a designer bag or a good label of clothing, or if it's brand new with the tags, or if it's vintage or an antique and has a collectible value, we will price those things higher because they are worth more. But we do still, what I like to say, leave some bread on the table for somebody else to make a little money on it if that's what they so choose to do. But we do feel that we are fairly comparable to what. We're not necessarily retail value, but we would be resale value on some of those items. All of our profits from our thrift store and any donations that we receive from the community stay in Neepawa. So we do have a little bit of money that goes to our territorial headquarters, and that's mainly for our accounting systems, our payroll systems, more of that administrative help and cost. So that kind of goes, there's a percentage, it's like pretty much under 15% that goes. I'm pretty sure it's around 10%. I'd have to double check my budget. But the thrift store itself funds 85% of our operating funds. So it is hugely important to us to do the things that we do in the community. Currently, the only grants that we really receive for operations is like a summer jobs grant that we've been lucky to have the last couple of years. And we do lots of other grant applications to like the Town of Neepawa, Beautiful Plains Community Foundations, other foundations, and those are typically for specific projects. So they don't really go into operating funds, they kind of help us with the next thing. So that's whether it's painting or construction costs or fixing a roof or those sorts of things. Those are the types of projects that we're looking for money for, usually from grants, because that's typically where granting money will give you. With the thrift store being our major economic support for our operation budget, it's really integral that we try to keep that store running to the best of its ability. If you go in there, currently we did a little paint freshening up. It's a striking color. We've had good, bad, and different thoughts around the color. We've added some grid wall just to add in displays, those sorts of things. And really, when you walk into our thrift store, it feels like a store. It doesn't necessarily feel like a thrift store. We do really well at merchandising, being organized, and we try to keep that customer experience really high. In order to do that, we have a few folks that help us out. So I have 7 employees, and we have over 20 monthly volunteers that come in and help us out. Some people are there to get experience for work. Some are doing school volunteering. Some are just like, hey, I'm bored. I just need some time away from my house. How can I help? Those sorts of things. So you'll see that we have a lot of people that help keep and drive that process. If you've ever been in our back room, you'll know that we divert a lot of stuff from the landfill, I would say. We have a lot of stuff that comes through our thrift store. We've never weighed it because I'm frightened by the number. But we really don't throw away a lot of things. So, like, we do try to repurpose as much as possible. If it's garbage, it is garbage, for sure. But we really do. We are really kind of the best type of recycling. You're reusing, you're donating, you're giving back to your community, and that money is staying in the community to help us do all the other things. As you can see, our retail store does really well. We almost had like $285,000 in retail sales last year, and we're a busy place. So that really equates to almost 443 customers a week. So there's a lot of people that come through our little store on a daily basis. And those are only paying customers that we're tracking here. That's not the other foot traffic that are coming in to see if we've got the item that they're hoping that we have. And usually when we don't have that item the next day, something has come in. So that's usually what else happens. So if you're shopping at our thrift store, if you're donating to our thrift store, do know that that money is going back directly into the community to help do all the other things that we do, like our community services. So our community services are really truly the heart of what we do. It is offered to any resident in the town of Neepawa and the surrounding RMs. So that is Rosedale, Glenella, Lansdowne, North Cypress, Langford, Westlake, Gladstone, and McCurry as well. And we offer things like our food bank, which we operate year round. We do Christmas hampers. We have resource connections that people can get to. We do emergency services. We will be doing a little bit more food literacy programming, and we try to do capacity building in our clients as well. So connecting them to help improve their situations in life. We're most known for our food bank, probably in our Christmas hamper programs, and we offer many services also. But we partner a lot in offering those services, and we can't really do that without being well connected to our community. Our partners include places like here at Arts Forward, Neepawa Settlement Services, school breakfast programs, our congregate meals, our daycares, Neepawa Eats Healthy, our rec department. Pretty much if we can assist somehow or be a part of the community or connect to the community, we are trying to do that at all levels. Because those who we serve are sometimes not served at every level in our community. And so to connect people and make them feel as part of community is super important as well. So a lot of people don't quite know what that intake process looks like. So why would you come to the Salvation Army? What does that look like? How do we service people? Basically, if you or your family are struggling financially to put food on your table, if there's some sort of barrier there, we can help. And we don't really do like a means test is what is currently kind of talked about. We don't do that. If you've asked for help, we're going to give you help in some way, shape, or form. We are definitely a small operation. There are two of us, myself and a part-time community services worker, Leah Anderson, and we also have volunteers that help out in our food bank as well. So it's a really great opportunity if you're looking to give back to the community and you want kind of some meaningful volunteer, and you don't, the thrift store isn't kind of your jam, but maybe working with clients would be a great way. We have people that help our clients through the food bank process as well, and there's other opportunities within our food literacy courses or workshops and things like that that possibly could happen. So what happens for a client, they express a need, they book an appointment with us. This allows us to kind of do a proper intake. And what we're looking for is kind of the demographic information so we can share who we're serving and how we're helping. But we also are looking for some information like, what does their monthly income look like? What are their monthly expenses? And that's not to say, hey, you're making too much money, you shouldn't be here. It's, okay, are you getting all the things that you need? Have you done your income taxes? Have you, why are you not getting child tax benefits? Why are, those sorts of things that we can kind of direct and help people guide. Oh, I haven't done my taxes in 3 years. How, I didn't think I could, yeah, no, here's how we can get you back on track. Here's how you can get those government benefits. Here's how you can get more money into your monthly income. Here's how we can help you out. And that maybe you don't have to rely as much on the food bank. So that's really kind of the next level of the care that we provide to our clients. You know, food is one thing, it's kind of a transactional base, but we really want to transform people's lives, and we really want to be able to help people move out of the situations that they're in, and whether that is advocating for them for more support through government benefits, or connecting them with housing, or those sorts of things. Those are the types of other resources and other services that we provide to our clients. And like I said, our financial information doesn't mean that you qualify for any assistance. It just really gives a perspective of what's happening in that family's life. And that doesn't even always tell all the story. A lot of times it's building relationships with people. If we've seen them more than once or twice, what else is going on? How are the kids? What's happening? Oh, and then sometimes you find out that maybe there are other things that family is dealing with. Maybe it's domestic violence. Maybe it is addictions. Maybe it is just they've got evicted. Like all sorts of things can happen in families' lives. Maybe there's a layoff, or they're on mat leave, or all of those things. Or maybe their whole family just arrived from overseas, right? Like these are big moments in people's lives that can have a huge impact on the finances that you usually have, and how do you stretch that out? And again, we've assisted clients in many other supports. So that intake process is really super important. In our food bank, folks get to kind of go through and choose. We're really proud of the fact that we don't just give out a cookie cutter kind of experience for folks, that it really is based on what they need and what they or want within in their situation. These are some of the reasons that people access the food bank for. You'll see, anywhere from cost of food to unemployment to just an ongoing need. Folks that are on income or employment and income assistance, which you kind of know as social assistance, really do not have enough money to survive on a monthly basis. A single person really is living with another about $100 to basically live off of. So whether that is paying for a phone or hydro, or usually hydro is covered, but a phone, clothing, groceries, medication, anything like that, those extras, just $100 doesn't go very far anymore. If you've gone to the grocery store in the past 5 minutes, it really doesn't go far, that is for sure. Here's a little sneak peek into our room here. This is our food bank. It does look a little bit different from this video, but you'll see that we have shelves laid out, and we try to stock them as much as possible. A lot of our things that come in, we do a food rescue program. So we rescue food that, say, our grocery stores like Neepawa Gladstone Co-op or Neepawa Safeway would not be able to sell. It might be past its date by a little bit, but we can share food well past a best before date. It's a best before, it's not an expiry. Those are two different things. Expired food gets thrown out. We don't share expired food, but best before, we have a guideline through Food Banks Canada that tells us how we can how long we can share those foods for. So even frozen meat, our local grocers are great at, hey, this is almost at its best before, we're going to throw it in the freezer. We pick it up 6 days a week. And that really has been, as you'll see, kind of a pop into some of our freezers, how much of a blessing that is, because we haven't had to actually purchase frozen protein for families in a very long time because of that. And that is a huge savings on our part, but a huge blessing for our families that can get a chicken or beef or pork. Those things might not be something that they're picking up at the grocery store on a regular basis. So we're really excited that we can have that. You'll see also that each label has kind of a points value. So we do what we call a shopping model food bank. So people get X amount of points based on the size of their family. If you're a single person, you get 70 points, a couple gets 90, it goes up from there. And you basically shop. And so we have personal shoppers or volunteers that will help and keep track of that for folks so that they can do kind of their shopping. And they have kind of a free reign of what they can get. We do have some limits on certain things just so we can stretch out those items for other families. But yeah, it works really, really well. It gives a lot of dignity. It gives a lot of autonomy for families because they're choosing things that their family use and need and like and want, as opposed to what the heck am I going to do with this? Like, my kids don't like this. How is this going to help? So, pardon me. We really feel that does help. Last year, we actually rescued 52,387 pounds of food. So we don't necessarily all give it out through the food bank, but we do, we have a free-for-all bin in our thrift store that any excess that we aren't using in the food bank would go there. And we also share it with our school breakfast programs and congregate meals as well, and our local daycares. So that extra is going out and it's not getting wasted, it's getting out to either families who are passively assisting or to other organizations that are feeding our kids, so, and our seniors as well. Of course, we always have extra bread and produce and those sorts of things, and clients can always come in when so they can access us once a month, and they can come in kind of weekly for extras like bread and produce and those sorts of things as well. So here's kind of what we're looking like. This is what our 2024 looked like. Last year, we assisted 673 households. And that's an average of about 56 households a month who come into our food bank and that we assist. That equates to 182 individuals. So that's, again, an average of 152 people that we're assisting a month through our food bank. The value of that food last year was around $162,000, almost $163,000 worth of food assistance that we gave out. And on average, we're distributing about 3,700 to 3,800 pounds of food out of our services. That was so 2024 was a 17% increase over 2023. And as you can see, our numbers have really exponentially increased since COVID, and we're just still catching up. This is just who's using our food bank. Majority of folks are from Neepawa. And from those who are in Neepawa, the majority of those who we're assisting are children. So 42% of who we're assisting are kids under the age of 17. The other thing that we do is Christmas. We do a Christmas hamper. We do gift cards and toys. Gone are the days of Bob sorting onions and potatoes and stuff for us. There's a number of reasons for that. One of them is a lot of our clients don't have the capacity to deal with the turkey and that whole kind of, what do you do with a turkey, and do I have a fridge and a freezer, and do I even have access to a kitchen? A lot of our newcomers really don't have that freezer access. They don't have that kind of kitchen access as well. So, and they don't have the knowledge maybe to deal with turkey. And even if we look at our own situation, I think lots of Canadian families are even going away from having turkey as a Christmas meal. So folks can still come to the food bank for groceries during December, but we focus on this with the gift cards as here, do your Christmas meal the way that you would like. And whatever that looks like is whatever that family needs. Our toys, in the last 2 years we've done this where we've set up kind of a big, kind of almost like a toy store. Basically, families come in and they get to choose the toys for their kids. Again, choice is such an important part of that dignity and ability to serve clients. We did a lot of years because we just didn't have the ability and the capacity to do that. We would sort out the toys and pack them for kids, and we would just hope and pray that the kids would like those things. I would say that families and parents know best what the kids like, and we were so blessed this year to have such support from our local businesses through toy drives and food drives this year. We didn't have to purchase any toys. We have some packed up and ready to go for next year, so that was great. We had 21 new families that we assisted. We gave out almost $10,000 in value of toys to 227 kids, and we gave out $28,000 in gift cards to local retailers. So I'm very passionate about supporting those who support us, and we give choice to our clients on the grocer, a local grocer who they would like to spend their gift card at. And so we give a variety of gift cards. Sometimes people will split it between 2 different stores, those sorts of things. But our local business community is so supportive of us that I ensure that we give back to that business community. And again, to make sure that money keeps flowing in Neepawa to continue to support the things that we do. That's just good community development. So what's next? So we have leased the what used to be the Rock and Animal House space in the old Neepawa grocery store. It is directly in behind us. And so this is kind of our next plans. So you'll see, I don't know if I got no, I don't. It's like, I don't know if I've got a little laser pointer, if that will work or not, if I'm smart enough to do this. There we go. Okay, so up in here, this is kind of the street access. And you'll come in through this door and there'll be a reception area. We'll have a couple of offices, and then over here will be our food bank, and over here will be our food storage area. So all of our family services we're moving into one location. Because really, if you walked into the thrift store, you would never think that we have a food bank and that we do all of these other things out of there. And so I think it's really important for us to have a much more public access to the services that we are providing. This space here is just kind of an open area that we can hold meetings or workshops, those sorts of things. And this is the most exciting part of this renovation, where this is going to be a community kitchen space. And this space is really going to allow us to do a lot more of that food literacy and capacity building for our clients. Whether that is cooking classes or getting together to cook, or being able to take our food rescue and process it so we can do other things with it or use it in the food bank, because we can't accept somebody's own canning from home, but we could can it ourselves because we know that the process that we've done meets all the guidelines, etc. It's in a certified kitchen, all of that kind of stuff. So we're really excited about this happening. That community kitchen and that meeting and training space really is where transformation for clients will happen. We'll be able to really offer more services. We'll be able to, even with an extra space in here, we can offer other agencies to come in and meet with clients and have access to people in Neepawa, because access to other resources and agencies can be really difficult. A lot of times you're either talking on the phone or you have to go into Brandon or Portage or Winnipeg to meet some of these government agencies. So that really makes a big difference. So we're working towards this. We should be starting construction in April. We're hoping that construction will be about 6 to 8 weeks, and so we're looking at hopefully June. We are, of course, finances are always tight around a big expansion project like this, and so we're just trying to make sure that all of this gets in place. So yeah, there's lots of exciting things that are coming up. Another exciting thing that is happening is we're actually starting a satellite food bank in McCurry as well. And if you kind of remember of who we were serving, there was a large portion from that area. Our folks in McCurry don't have a lot of transportation. They've got that as a huge barrier. And so it just makes sense for us to bring food to them instead of them trying to find rides and trying to, manage their budget better. That the Legion up there has given us some space and has really worked well with us to move on with that. So, yeah. So in all, we've got lots of things going on. We really look at that food security part. We are a real resource hub in this community. We're kind of sometimes the first stop for somebody when they don't know where to go for something. And so we're really a good direction navigation point for folks. And we are very unique in this community to have a social service agency like us in the community, because not every community has that. They may have a food bank, there may be a thrift store, but they don't really have, those entities might not have the capacity to really do the things that we are currently doing. And so I think we're just hoping that to continue support from our community in the things that we do and in the things that we are going to do in the future. So any questions, comments?
One quick one. You had a slide there of, I believe it was usage in the food bank from 21 to 24, and it stepped up. Is that in any way mirror the increase in population in Neepawa, or is it a bigger percentage using your resources?
A little bit. However, this is very similar to what all food banks have seen across the country. Just an increase in need and in usage. It's very strange, like when you kind of hear Food Banks Canada and they talk about what's happening in Toronto, we actually see the same kind of usage increases. What's happening with our tariffs and things like that are really going to impact families in the next little bit. And so right now our usage is kind of stabilized, but we're expecting a little bit for the worst in the next little while, as the economy just is so well, there's no words really for it on how that goes, right? So anything else? Oh, Chris has got Bob.
I see. How closely your partner of use that you say up there, you refer them to Brandon or Winnipeg?
So if somebody's having domestic violence situations, we send them to Brandon. So Westman Women's Resource or those sorts of places do kind of take in our area. And so it's typically Brandon that we are referring to, unless there are other extenuating circumstances.
I was just thinking of when you came as, I don't know if it was described as economic development officer, what it would become those years later. And thank you. I mean, it's amazing what it does.
Thank you. I appreciate that. Yeah, my passion has always been community and building capacity in people, and that I've been able to do in a number of ways in this community, and I feel that this is just really good work in supporting those most vulnerable within our community.
On behalf of the Rotary Club, I'd just like to thank you for coming. This was a very informative presentation. And thank you for all the important and compassionate work you do in our community.
Oh, so much.
Thank you.